What's poppin', y'all? Welcome to a special edition of the Heliocentric Podcast, our first ever March Madness edition. For those of you that don't know, I do this every year where I do a bracket video, just breaking down a bracket, showing my picks, my thoughts, giving my people some insight and some information. I do want to say, by all means, I am not a bracket expert. And I don't think a bracket expert exists, because if that was the case, we would always see perfect brackets. I'm just here to tell y'all my thoughts and some information. Do you, by all means, whatever pick you, if you want to pick a team because their colors are better to you, sometimes stuff like that works. Sometimes being blind going into this is the best decision that you can make. I think sometimes knowing too much hinders some of us, because we're like, it's no way this team can win. They do this, they shoot this percentage, they shoot that percentage, they got this guy, they got that guy, and then boom, the first night a number one seed goes down, and it's like, oh my goodness, never in a million years could you see that team beating a number one seed. Things like that just happen. So I just want to say, feel comfortable by going against whatever I'm saying. There's going to be certain times in this video where I'm going to contradict myself and go against my damn self. So keep that in mind. As always, though, for everybody at YouTube, make sure you hit that like button for me. And if you're new and you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe. For all my audio listeners, wherever you listen to your podcast, head over to that platform right now and please leave this podcast a review of 5 stars. I'd much appreciate it. I love y'all. This is my favorite time of the year. And hey, we can dive right into it. Everybody that's listening on the podcast, I am also doing a visual YouTube experience with the green screen. So if you like to see, visual things against, just listening to the audio, I would advise you to head over to the YouTube. I got the bracket behind me. We filling out picks. We showing different things, and all of that. So how I'm going to do this, to make sure that we're not here for 5 hours, I'm going to give information that I think is credible and important, and I'm going to give some love to some people. But a lot of these matchups that I think are just going to be over and done with, I'm going to try not to spend too much time on it. Like, I really don't think that it's necessary for me to really break down UConn at this point, because UConn is UConn. They're the number one team, the number one overall seed. They won it last year. They have a high chance of repeat. There's just certain teams that I just think that a lot of people are aware of. And it's these other teams, in the middle, the 8-9 matchups, the 5-12s, the 4-13s, where you might be like, who is this team? I don't know who they are, what they're about, what their identity is. That's where I might spend some time. So if you have a favorite team that's a number one overall seed, a number 2 seed that's been killing, and you feel like I'm glossing over your team real fast, it's just because a lot of y'all know who they are. You know what I mean? Like, even casual watchers know UConn has been a dominant force. So I don't want to spend 5 to 10 minutes talking about a team like UConn when everybody kind of gets the gist of how good they are. But we are going to start off East. UConn, the number 1 seed, they're matched up with Stetson. Now, Stetson is a team that I don't think is going to be able to keep up with UConn in any sort of way. But they do have a guy by the name of Jalen Blackman. Jalen Blackman had a 43-point game the other night for them in their conference championship game, which got them into the tournament. And the one thing I am going to say is, I just tweeted out about an hour or two ago, #TourneyMade. And I told people to remember it, write it down, know where you saw it first. I am going to coin the phrase #TourneyMade. And when I say tourney made, it's going to be a stamp of approval for certain type of players that are just made for the tournament. And a lot of times, 90% of the times, it's going to be a guard. I just think that guard play is the most important element of college basketball in March. Tournament play, to me, it lives and it dies with your guard play. Now, obviously, you would love to have this well-balanced team, but every team in the tournament can't have a UConn team where you have a big, you have three-point shooting, you have size, defense. Every team can't be as well-rounded as UConn. That's just what it is. But if there's one thing that I could pick for my team to have going into March, it would be guard play. Guards who know how to score the basketball, guards who can play out of the pick and roll. They know how to make sound decisions. You know what I mean? Like whatever style. I won't even limit the styles. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can be a downhill attacker who can drive and make defenses collapse and kick it out to shooters, I'll take that. If you're a guy who's just going to take care of the basketball, but you may only give me like 13, 14 points, I'll take that. If you're an explosive scoring guard and you can give me a 30-point, showcasing and make timely shot, I'll take that. But I think guard play is one of the most, if not the most important things. So you're going to hear the hashtag Tourney Made a lot in this video. I say all that to say, Jalen Blackman, shout out to him. Shout out to Stetson for making it. UConn is just too physical. They're too aggressive. They're too well-rounded. They got Donovan Clingan on the inside. They got Newton on the outside. They got Cam Spencer, Carabin. They got a top 10 projected guy in Stephon Castle. Not too many teams are going to have a top 10 projected player be their fourth or fifth best player on the team. And that's what UConn has. So we're going to rock with UConn on that one. I don't think that was even going to be close. That's one of those ones where, like, if that happens, I'm going to just, like, I don't even know. But let me shut up because I don't want this to be a part of a video that can get clipped out in case Stetson does the unbelievable. Another thing that I'll bring up for my visual people, when I use, ESPN or different outlets, websites to create my bracket, I always use this tool. I don't live by these tools. I don't die by it. I have a lot of different resources that I use to give my information on different teams. But I always love to just look at things like, notable results. Some key games that they won, some key games that they lost. You do it for both sides. You might be impressed. You might find a certain pattern. I look at the scores and the rebound. I look at all of that. I have different sources of information that I use, but I always take a little look, even if I'm familiar with what's going on, just to get a little profile background. The next matchup, this is one of those ones in the East Side specifically. This has potential to be the best first round matchup out east, which is number 8 Florida Atlantic versus Northwestern. A lot of y'all are going to remember Florida Atlantic from last year. They had a Cinderella run. But one thing about them that makes them different is a lot of teams usually have a Cinderella run, and we just don't hear about them anymore. Not only did they have a Cinderella run, but they came into this season using that momentum. They were a top 25 team. They played real well, and I like them. I like them a lot. They have hashtag Tourney Made guard Johnell Davis, but so does Northwestern. Hashtag Tourney Made Boo Buie. This is going to be a very, very interesting game that could be kind of like a boxing match. You may get a haymaker here. You may get an uppercut there. You may have it in the middle of the game. Both teams are just delivering jab after jab. And then I think in that last 5-minute stretch, we may get some guys taking those knockout punches. They're just extremely similar offensively. I believe they're right next to each other in offensive efficiency, where if hypothetically Florida Atlantic is 70th, Northwestern is 71st. Like they're that close with each other from an offensive standpoint. And like I said, they have two guards who can go for 20 plus and win you a game on any given night. They both have some interior help. I love the big at Florida Atlantic. Golden, he was really, really good last year. Gives them a really good inside outlook. They're like a 4-out, 1-in type team. And Northwestern, the reason I'm going to side with them, and yes, I'm taking Northwestern, is because I believe that they have the defensive edge. I seen Northwestern in person this year against DePaul. I was really impressed with how they played. I love the fact that they're a Big Ten team. And we'll take the look at the preview right here, and you can see Florida Atlantic. They had some success. They beat Texas A&M. They beat an Arizona Wildcat team when Arizona was number 1, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, Arizona was number 1 when they got that win. And then they also had a win against Memphis, but they also lost to Memphis. They lost to Illinois. And then you look at a team like Northwestern, and it's like the high-level games for Florida Atlantic, the big games, this is the typical schedule for Northwestern. So I'm taking the fact that Northwestern is playing against that type of competition day in and day out. You know what I mean? Like going against Illinois isn't like a big notable game for Northwestern. They're playing Illinois multiple times a year. They beat Purdue. They beat Michigan. They beat Illinois. Like they're ready to play high-level basketball. They're not going to be fazed by the moment. I give them an edge defensively. They have a hashtag Tourney Made guard. They have size. They have versatility. They have experience. I'm going with Northwestern, but I do think that could be the highlight game of the day on March 22nd. And then we have San Diego State versus UAB. UAB is going to attack the offensive glass. I'll give them that. They can offensive rebound. They got Lindenberg. And then they have the guard Eric Gaines, who's a transfer from LSU. I like Eric Gaines, but I don't like him enough to take him against San Diego State. San Diego State is a very, very stingy defense. They got a young guy coming off their bench named Miles Byrd. I'm a big believer in him. Maybe not this year. He's going to play a part of their success off of the bench, but I just can't wait to see that young man continue to develop because he has some defensive capabilities that I think when it's all put together, is going to be a very dangerous college basketball player. Right now, they're led by Ledee. Ledee the other night had a game where he had like 35, 14, 5 assists. Like, he was just a monster. But again, I love the way that they shorten up the floor. They don't allow you to do whatever you want to do out there. And they've had some impressive wins. They've beaten Gonzaga. They've beaten Utah State. They've beaten New Mexico. I love the Mountain West. I think this was a slugfest. So a lot of the teams that's in this tournament, I'm going to favor them because I think that tournament play got them very, very prepared for the NCAA tournament. So we're ultimately going to ride with San Diego State. UAB, like I said, they're going to fight. They're not going to lay down, but San Diego State has no problem really grinding it out. The only thing I'm looking at with San Diego State as far as a full picture thing is they just can't shoot the three ball at a clip that I like. But we'll get to that when it's time to. Auburn versus Yale. Bruce Pearl over at Auburn, he got him a nice team. They are top 10 offensively and top 10 defensively in the nation. So when you talk about NBA basketball, one of the things that NBA people like to talk about with teams is, oh man, they have a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense. Well, Bruce Pearl and Auburn has a top 10 offense and a top 5 defense. So they going to do it on both sides. One of the other things that I really like about Auburn, they're a deep team. They're going to play a lot of different players, and they have a lot of different weapons. They guard too as well. They block shots. They offensive rebound thanks to Johnny Broome. And then Yale, I wish Yale had a better matchup because I definitely like Danny Wolf. He's going to be a really good, interesting player. He's a big who is really, really good offensively. They have good size. They're a young team. And they take care of the basketball really, really well. But I don't think that's going to be enough against Auburn. But definitely tune in this game and try to get you a look at Danny Wolf. I hope he's able to have a good performance. Obviously, this is not the matchup he would want either. Top 5 defensively. They may take away a lot of his opportunities and whatnot. But ultimately, we go on Auburn. Shout out to Yale, Danny Wolf. Hopefully, he puts on a show because I'm giving you some love, Danny. Come on. Another good one. BYU and Duquesne. Okay, the Dukies. Only reason I know Duquesne so well is because when I was young, there was a store called Stephen Barry's, and they sold college merch, right? College merchandise were long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, Letterman jackets, hoodies, and it was all college basketball branded or just college branded. So it didn't matter if you went to North Carolina, Oregon, Tennessee, Duke, Vermont, Oakland, no matter what school you went to, they was going to have college gear in the store. And I loved Duke when I was younger, the Blue Devils, Coach K and Duke. And I saw Duquesne have Duke on a jacket, but my dumb ass didn't really realize I put 2 and 2 together. I bought the damn jacket, and it was red and blue. And my dad was like, "You hilarious." I'm like, "Why?" He like, "Cause like you bought that because it's Duke, but that's Duquesne. Like that's not the Blue Devils. Can't you tell by the red?" I'm like, "Oh my damn goodness." But that was almost 2 decades ago. I was like 9 years old. But anyway, this is gonna be a good one because BYU played really well this year in the Big 12. They transitioned over there in that conference and they handled it extremely well. Their leading scorer, Jackson Robinson, is their 6th man. They're a well-rounded team. A lot of different guys are going to get involved. They got some really good size. They got Khalifa. They got Fu Triorier. He's a monster on the inside. But I ultimately think that Duquesne, with their athleticism and their defensive ability, I think that they can really take away some of these threes from BYU, and they can force some turnovers, and they can get out in transition and make it a living hell. The only thing about Duquesne is that they don't shoot the 3 ball well. But they have a guy that I'm going to hashtag tourney made, and that is Day Grant. They also have another guy who I don't know if I want to put the hashtag tourney made on, but Jimmy Clark. They have two guards. Day Grant is a guy that's had 30-point games this year. Jimmy Clark ain't having the 30-point games like Day, but he's had some 20-point games. And I think because their athleticism and what they can do defensively, turning BYU over, being aggressive, blocking shots, and doing those type of things, they keep that game close enough down the stretch. They have a reliable option or two reliable options in that backcourt that can lead you away. They have the recipe that a lot of teams that are looking for upsets should have. You keep the game as close as you can, and if you have a hashtag tourney made guard or player, they just take you there. Kind of like Oral Roberts. I was a big fan, and I called the Oral Roberts run a few years ago. For those of you that aren't familiar with my work, that was one of my most memorable picks. I had Oral Roberts doing a lot of damage that year, and they did it. I love them because they had a 1-2 punch. They had O'Banner, who eventually went over, Kevin O'Banner, who eventually went to Texas Tech, I believe, and Max Abmas, who is right now playing for Texas. That 1-2 punch I love. You keep that game close, or you just, you keep it right, you keep it close enough, and you have a legitimate guard or a legitimate 1-2 punch, but really a legitimate guard who can make timely buckets. And if you get to that point of the game, 4, 5, 3 minutes left, and it's close and it's back and forth, you have a guy that can take you there. And I think it's the same thing with the Dukes. They have a legitimate defense who can make it tough, get real gritty with BYU. Even though I love the way, like I said, BYU, this isn't the typical BYU. They're in the Big 12 now, so they're used to a little bit of grit. They handled it well. That's why they're in the tournament. But I think if you make them uncomfortable enough and you put the ball in Day Grant hands, you can have yourself something special. I am going to say that that's one that I'm taking. I'm not mad at anybody that's going BYU. This could easily be one of those decisions I come back to and I'm like, no-brainer was BYU. BYU can come out and be a really efficient offense, a well-rounded team with a lot of depth, and they can really put this to bed quickly, especially if they D up, because BYU is no slouch on the defensive side of the basketball either. And like I said, Duquesne just doesn't shoot the basketball at a high clip, so that could be another thing. Illinois versus Morehead State. Illinois, one of the most potent high-octane offenses in the nation. They don't guard the three ball well, and they don't generate a lot of turnovers. Those are my main two things. I like Illinois. I understand Terrence Shannon Jr. is on a tear, and like I said, they have an explosive offense, but I hate the fact that they don't generate turnovers. I love teams that just get. That's the biggest thing for me. A lot of these higher seeds, like when you think about Houston, Houston is gonna go in there and they gonna rattle that 16 seed because they going and force you turn it over and not before you know it, you're down 14-0 and the whole spirit is wiped out of the gym. When you're not a team like that, you are liable to give the other team some hope. So Illinois is a really good offense. But when you're a really good offense, on any given night, you can miss some shots, and before you know it, you're giving this other team some hope. So I'm really counting on Illinois to come through, but Morehead State, I would not count them out. They're almost top 100 in threes. Are they good enough defensively to slow down Illinois? That's what I have in my notes. That's my biggest thing. Are they good enough defensively to slow down Illinois? Because you do not want Illinois to get out too early and play way behind. That's not what you want. But Morehead State has a hashtag tourney-made guy, Riley Minix. In 12 games this year, Riley has 25 or more. He's had 30-point games, multiple 30-point games, 28, 29, 27, 25, 25. Like, he's like that. And then on the other side, though, you have Terrence Shannon Jr., who has 11 games with 25 or more. So you got two guys who might be on a situation where they can put on a show, especially because Illinois don't go out the three ball well. So, again, kind of like the situation with Duquesne. If you keep this game tight enough, Riley Minix can maybe go out there and win you a game reminiscent of R.J. Hunter a few years ago at my mind is blanking on the name of the school, at Georgia State. I'm so sorry. I don't know what was going on there. And we can have something memorable. That's what my gut is kind of or my mind is telling me, but I'm going to trust my gut and I'm going to take Illinois. Illinois, do not let me down, because this could be one of those parts of the video where I quickly screen record and say, boom, I should have just went with my mind. But now I'm learning to trust my gut. Illinois, I'm riding with you. Please, please get them out their way early. Because if you don't, that boy Riley might get the job done. Moving on to the next one, Washington State and Drake. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of these games I have a lot of notes with. I don't have a lot of notes on this one, right? Tucker DeVries for Drake, he's been on a tear. He's been on a tear for the last couple of years, to be honest with you. One of my favorite players in college basketball as far as scoring the basketball and just doing a little bit of everything. Can he get hot? That's my question. That's my question mark. And can they make enough threes? Washington State, very simple on the other side. They have size, they score inside, and they're a little shaky at the free throw line. And Washington State don't force enough turnovers. That's a big thing for me. If you allow Drake to get comfortable, you allow Tucker DeVries to really do his thing and get going, this could turn into one of those matchups. But at the same time, I don't know if Drake is going to be able to handle Washington State's size. That's my main thing. Can they handle that size? And can they get a game from Tucker to really take them over the top? I'm taking Drake. Everything and all that information is telling me to take Washington. Again, this is one of those picks where I'm not really trying to go out on a ledge and tell you, you have to take Drake. You must take Drake. No, I'm taking Drake. All of the information tells me take Washington State. Something else is telling me personally to take Drake, and I think I'm going to like that decision a lot if they are able to negate that size advantage. Tough matchup right here for South Dakota State because I really love Zeke Mayo. I think he's a guy who can be hashtag tourney made, but I just think they got a tough draw. I mean, for this offensive player or tourney made guy, this is the worst matchup you can get. Houston or Iowa State. Iowa State is really going to be stingy defensively. They beat Houston twice. I mean, it's tough for me to see them losing right now in this first. If it was a lot of other second seeds that South Dakota State was playing against, they might have a better chance of winning. But Iowa State is really rolling right now. And like I said, that last win against Houston was really convincing. Keyshawn Gilbert and Lipsy, they do their thing. They force turnovers. They're probably going to make Zach Mayo have a tough day. If he can withstand that, though, and put on a performance and somehow they win this game, that's going to be a legendary performance from him because I don't see any other way that they can win. And, yeah, they don't really offensive rebound. They struggle guarding the three. So, San Diego State, I'm sorry, but I got to take Iowa State in this one. That's our east side of the bracket. We're about 22 minutes in. This video is about to be long, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start trying to fly through it. In the West, we don't really have to spend much time. Howard versus Wagner, who cares? Because North Carolina is going to win this game. I don't really want to give y'all too much of a spiel on North Carolina. They're North Carolina. They got size. They got experience. They got guard play. That's why they're the number one seed. Mississippi State versus Michigan State. I love this right here. I love this. Mississippi State, they just don't shoot the three ball well enough for me, man. They really don't. And I just think that when it comes to March Madness, when it comes around this time, Michigan State is a team that I'm always looking for and I'm always trying not to bet against. You know what I mean? Tom Izzo gets the job done. Josh Hubbard, I like you. He's a microwave scorer, a little 5'10 guard. He can really do his thing. They guard the three well, and they get a lot of turnovers from steals. And I like that. But Michigan State, top 10 defensively. They force a lot of turnovers. They defend the twos well. They get blocks. Tyson Walker, hashtag tourney made. I can't go against Tom Izzo. Michigan State should win that convincingly. Let me not say convincingly like it's going to be a 15-point win, but I think that shouldn't be a last shot game. I can see Michigan State winning that by around 6 or 7 points. The next matchup, probably my most favorite matchup in the West right now, St. Mary's versus Grand Canyon. St. Mary's, the offensive rebounder at the elite level, 67% at the free throw line. Don't like that, but they have really good size. They're a big team. You're looking at Alex Dukas, the three-point shooter. He's really, really good. They have Mahani and Marshy Lewis, or how do you pronounce? Let me see if I can pronounce his last name right. Marsalunas. But on the other hand, we're looking at this preview. Tyon Grant Foster, a dude that went to Kansas, went to DePaul, and now is at Grand Canyon. He's a walking 20-point performance. I don't really want to get into the details, but he has an amazing story, an incredible comeback story. If you're not familiar, I will Google it, YouTube it. I'm sure there's a little clip or something. And when they play, they'll probably talk about it too. Remember that, though. An incredible story. I'm ultimately taking Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, they offensive rebound the ball well. They get to the free throw line a lot. They force turnovers. They guard the interior well. They block a lot of shots, and they get a lot of steals. I just think Ty and Grant Foster is going to put on a show. I think they're going to get physical and aggressive with St. Mary's, and I think they're going to get out in transition and get a lot of different easy ones. I'm taking Grand Canyon for the upset. I think you should too. St. Mary's is not a team to sleep on, though. I will say that. But I just love Grand Canyon and the way that they're playing right now. Alabama versus Charleston. Alabama is a potent offense. This offense is lethal. And I ultimately think that Charleston just doesn't have enough. They take care of the ball well. They offensive rebound. They live by the three, which that's a recipe for potentially getting an upset. But they don't get to the free throw line enough. And I don't know how much of an imprint their big Ante Bazorovich is going to be able to put an imprint on his game. You know what I mean? I think a guy like Mark Spears is going to be able to really get off in this game, and I think that's going to be the tell-all for Alabama. They're going to really do their thing. Mark Sears and then my guy Aaron Estrada. This is a nice Alabama team. From a talent perspective, this is one of those teams that doesn't have the screaming draft players, like the NBA draft players like they did the last few years. And I think that might come into advantage for them this year. But Alabama and that potent offense, I'm not betting against them right now. Clemson versus New Mexico. Clemson has had some impressive wins. I do like PJ Hall. You got to love the way that they showcase their skill and their talent against the ACC all year long. They force limited turnovers. They don't offensive rebound well. And like I said, PJ Hall, I like. But we talk about the Mountain West again. New Mexico has been incredible. They have Jalen House, Donovan Dent, Jamal Mashburn Jr. That three-guard trio I'm really buying into. I think they're going to get real aggressive on Clemson. They're going to force them to get turnovers. They're going to get out and have easy buckets. And I think if it does become a slow, grinded-out game, their half-court offense with those three guards, I'm going to take them over that. Jalen House is also the son of Eddie House, for those of you that did not know. And he's also the nephew of Mike Bibby, because I believe Mike Bibby's sister is married with Eddie House and had a baby, which is Jalen House. So his dad is Eddie House and his uncle is Mike Bibby. I believe that's how it is. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I believe that to be true. Baylor versus Colgate. Colgate, well-rounded offense, poor free throw shooting team, which is never a good recipe when you're trying to do some special stuff in March Madness. Braden Smith is going to be their guy. He's really solid, but I just think Baylor is too good. I think Baylor's too good. They shoot the three ball too well. They have enough size with Yves Missy. They have R.J. Dennis. We're talking about Jacoby Walker, who's a guy that should be a first-round pick in this year's upcoming draft. And, yeah, they're just going to be better. They're just going to be better. And also J.T. Toppin for New Mexico. How could I forget J.T. Toppin? I'm taking Baylor. We ain't going to spend too much time on that one. Dayton, Nevada. This could be a really, 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 really good one. Dayton is going to shoot the three ball really well. They have Dayron Holmes, another guy that should be in the 2024 draft. But Nevada and that Mountain, Nevada is battle tested. Nevada has a slower pace. They get to the free throw line. They don't turn it over. They shoot it well. They block a lot of shots. They guard the three-point ball well. They got Keenan Blackshear, and they got Gerard Lucas. Gerard Lucas, I think, could be the game changer here to offset anything that's going on and make big shots down the stretch, because I do think this is going to be one of the closer ones in the first round out here in the West. And then Dayton, their elite three-point shooting team, they're going to be living by the three. They're going to be dying by it. So as long as Nevada can guard that three ball well like they normally do, I think they can win this game and have the upset. Down here, Long Beach State, you'll hear about them. They fired their coach before their their conference tournament, and then they went on to win a conference tournament. So I know they feel stupid, and because of that, we're going against Arizona. I will admit, Arizona, I'm a little shaky on them. It's something about Arizona that I'm just not buying into this year, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know. Arizona, I'm watching you closely. Please believe it. Houston versus Longwood. I mean, what am I to say? Matter of fact, let me actually flip my page. Did I write anything for Longwood? Jamal Shed, LJ Cryer, they're gonna do their thing for Houston. Houston's gonna just be a real stingy. They're gonna force turnovers. They're gonna get out. They're gonna run. They're gonna clap in your face. They're gonna be aggressive. They've had games in their conference tournament where I was watching and it was 18-0. Like minutes gone by and teams didn't score. They're that good. So Longwood is going to have a hell of a night for them. They do offensive ball well. They struggle at the line. They don't shoot enough threes, and they can't guard the three-point line well. So I'm not even going to watch this game. Houston, I'm not even wasting my time with y'all. Nebraska versus Texas A&M. Really good matchup. Another good 8-9 matchup. I will say I don't believe this is going to be as good as the Florida Atlantic and Northwestern, but I am ultimately going to go with Nebraska. This is going to be tough. Nebraska shoots it well. They're efficient. They guard the three well. They're a well-rounded defensive team. Texas A&M, they're the number one offensive rebounding team. That's the one thing that scares me, man. That they offensive rebound and they don't turn the ball over. But the only thing that held them back from being picked is they suck at three-point shooting. You have to be able to knock down three-point shooting. And my guy from Nebraska, Tamanaga, he's going to probably put on a show. If you've been watching Big Ten basketball, you already know who he is. He's a flamethrower. If he gets hot, he can run away this game for Nebraska. So I'm taking Nebraska right there. Texas A&M, you got to start making some threes. Number 5, Wisconsin versus James Madison, another Big Ten school, another upset. I'm going James Madison right here. I just think that James Madison is elite at guarding a three-point ball. They're good at offensive rebounding. They're efficient offense. They're experienced. They force a lot of turnovers. And Terrence Edwards is their go-to guy, and I believe in Terrence Edwards. Wisconsin is solid. They have A.J. Storr, but they're vulnerable guarding a three-point shot. And I think James Madison thrives in guarding a three-point shot. So if you're going to give up threes and have a tough time stopping them from shooting threes, I think not only do they win this, but they could win this by 7 or 8 points. So I'm going James Madison. Don't sleep on them. They've been one of the best teams in the nation. The only reason they're 12 is because they don't play in a high major conference like a Wisconsin or like a Nebraska. So because of that, they play 12. But I think that's a downside because now you have a team like Wisconsin who's done a good job in their conference all year, and their reward is to play a high octane team like James Madison. Even if Wisconsin wins, they're going to work for this win. So it's like, college basketball parity right now is really, really, really good. Duke, Vermont, they rarely turn it over. They got a lot of depth. They rebound well despite the size. They're not the biggest team. They're going to give up a lot of size to Duke, and they guard the three-point wall well. They just don't force enough turnovers. If you want to be able to upset a team, you're going to have to force some turnovers. You have to be able to get them to play fast, play out of their body, get uncomfortable. I don't think Vermont will be able to do that to Duke. Duke got a lot of good guards. Tyrese Proctor, they got Caleb Foster, they got my guy Jared McCain that I really, really like. They got Kyle Filipowski, Mark Mitchell. Duke has a lot, and they're going to run away with this game. And they're an elite three-point shooting team, and I think they're going to knock down a lot of different threes. Jared McCain is going to have a big game in this March Madness somewhere for Duke. Him or Kyle Filipowski, maybe both. Texas Tech, NC State. This is a tough one for me, man. I was going back and forth on this one, back and forth. I still don't know who I'm going to pick. But just some notes. Texas Tech, they struggle defensive rebounding. They get to the line well. They shoot it well. They offensive rebound. They shoot it well from three. Pop Isaacs is their guy. Pop Isaacs, he has a type of game that could be hashtag turning made. It just depends on how NC State comes out to answer. NC State has been on fire. I already know y'all know the two DJs. If you watch college basketball at all, then you see NC State beat Duke and then North Carolina, which is how they punched their ticket to the tournament. When you're playing that well and you have an inside-out type of situation going on, it's hard to pick against. So I'm going NC State on this one. They protect the basketball. They beat you up on the inside. They don't guard the three well. But I also don't think Texas Tech is going to win the game from three. They shoot it well, but do they shoot it enough to necessarily win an entire game by it? I don't know. So we going NC State. But that's another tough one that can go either way, y'all. Either way. Kentucky, Oakland. Oakland, they don't foul a lot. They don't cause turnovers. They lack size. They don't guard the three ball well enough. And they have no answer for Kentucky. Those are just my notes. Like, in order, again, to be able to compete with a Kentucky team, they're going to have to be elite in something, and Oakland just doesn't have it. Kentucky is the number one three-point shooting team. They're number one in block shots. They have size. They have bench. They have depth. They have elite guard play. I think Kentucky can have a sneaky good year to make a run. I just think that they have it. They have everything that they need right now. This is going to be extremely telling if they fall short, and I'm hoping that they get the job done. Florida versus Boise State or Colorado. I am picking Colorado to win this matchup. I think that's going to be a really good game. I like Tristan Da Silva. I like KJ Simpson. Obviously, Cody Williams as well. Florida, I probably would have went Florida, but Florida just lost their big man. He's a 7-footer. I love the way Florida rebounds the basketball. They obviously have Walter Clayton. He's a big-time guy who can be #tourney made. But I believe since that injury happened, they're still going to have some size. They're still going to be able to rebound the basketball. I just think that the pace that Colorado plays at and the offensive rebounding, they turn it over a lot, but I think they can withstand that, and I think they can win this game. I hate counting out Florida after the injury, but I'm going Colorado, and this is really going to come back to bite me if Boise State wins this game. You know what I'm saying? If Boise State wins this game, y'all, we going Florida. Understand that, right? If Colorado wins, we going Colorado. I'm just saying, because you don't have to submit. You ain't going to have to submit your bracket until this game is played. So that's where we're going. We're projecting that Colorado wins Boise State, and then they come in and they beat a Florida team because Colorado is a team that was like a win away or so from punching a ticket and having a higher seed than 10. Marquette versus Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky plays extremely fast, y'all. They play fast. Like, I can't express it enough how fast they play. Don McHenry is their guy. He's their engine. Marquette plays fast as well, though. That's the biggest thing. Marquette plays fast. They're well-rounded. Defensively, they're much better. And they're going to have Tyler Kolek back. And Marquette is going to turn you over. They're going to play fast. They're going to get a lot of steals. They're going to use their size on the inside with Oso. They have Cam Jones as well. Western Kentucky is going to play fast. They'll try to turn you over and run. They defensive rebound well, and they can guard the three. They defend without fouling, but I just don't think they have enough. They're kind of like South Dakota State, where it's like, damn, if it was another 2 seed, I would feel confident picking you and taking you over this 2 seed, but I just don't think they have enough. I am going to say this, though, y'all. If you're a risk taker like me, understand. One of these 2 seeds might have to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel shaky when I'm just picking all of the two seeds. You know what I mean? Like, 2 and 15, it's a lot of better chances than 1-16. We get 2-15 way more often than 1-16. Understand that. I'm not saying it's out of this world, but man, Western Kentucky could make it happen. Tennessee, St. Peter's is so terrible. Like, they're so bad offensively. Like, there's no way in hell that Tennessee is going to lose that game. Long Beach State, I mean, are they playing desperate because their coach got fired? And are they going to parlay that into a win against Arizona? I'm telling y'all, Arizona makes me shaky. I just don't even know what it is, y'all. I just wish I could put it into words. It's something about them when I watch them that I'm like, they have some losses that just make me scratch my head. And I hate saying that because they're easily a team that could just go on a run too and make me look stupid, you know? Like, I'm saying what I'm saying, but I'm aware that they could go on a national championship run. But some of the losses that Arizona have had just make me not the greatest believer in them. Purdue is going to handle their business no matter what. Grambling State, we hoping you well. Utah State versus TCU is so tough for me to go against my guy, Jamie Dixon. But TCU, they turn it over a lot. They're experienced, though. They're one of the oldest teams in this tournament. They got good size. They force a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of steals. They guard the 3-ball, and they play fast. Utah State, on the other hand, though, man, they're gonna be below average from 3, but they're gonna pound you on the inside. I know how that sounds. And they guard the 3 elitely. So elitely, I just made up a word. They're elite at guarding the 3. They take care of the ball. They got a guy by the name of Great Osobor. He is a monster down there. He is a monster. He's gonna make it a living hell for TCU. He's, like I said, he might eat. He might eat. And then they have Ian Martinez and Darius Brown. So they got 2 guys on the perimeter. Not the best 3-point shooting team, but they might make enough threes. And then they got Great Oso on the inside. I really want to take Utah State. I really do. But it's hard for me to go against Jamie Dixon. So I'm going to take TCU. This can be something I regret. I'm taking TCU. I'm telling y'all, take Utah State. take Utah State, y'all. If you are just filling out your bracket, listening to me, take Utah State. I'm taking TCU, take Utah State, okay? This is where it get good, y'all. This is where it get good. Gonzaga and McNeese State. Listen, I'm taking McNeese. They have a guy, Shahada Wells, hashtag tourney made in all caps. Shahada Wells is going to put on a damn show. I can damn near guarantee it. McNeese State is one of those teams where, again, it sucks for Gonzaga. It sucks for Gonzaga as a 5th seed. Your reward is McNeese State? Seriously? Seriously? You damn near rather play a 10 seed. I'm looking at some of the 10 seeds around here. What's it like, Nevada or McNeese State? I'm taking McNeese. I'm taking McNeese. And is it? Let me make sure it's McNeese. I might be throwing McNeese State on there for no reason. So excuse me if I'm doing that. McNeese. Where's another 10 seed? Where's another 10 seed? Where's another 10 seed? Drake. I would rather play Drake. All of these 10 seeds, 11 seed, NC State. I would rather play NC State. I just don't, it's tough. Gonzaga, y'all ain't really rocking with these dudes. They're going to get steals. They're going to force you to turn the ball over. McNeese, they give up a lot of second chance points, but they're going to force turnovers, get steals. They're going to run. They're 7th in the nation in threes. They don't turn the ball over a lot. They offensive rebound, and Shahada Wells with an exclamation mark. They are coached by Will Wade, who used to coach at LSU, so he knows what tournament play is all about. Not that he has a national championship under his belt or anything by any means, but he's new to this. He ain't true to this. He's true to this. He ain't new to this. I said it the wrong way. Next, Kansas versus Samford. Another upset, baby. We going Samford. We're going 12-13 is going to meet in that second round. Kansas is dealing with some injuries. I think Hunter Dickinson is going to be getting going. I think he's going to be practicing in the next couple of days. Kevin McCullough, though, their senior, who I think is a vital part to this team. I'm not sure if he's playing. I'm leaning towards saying that Kevin McCullough is going to be ruled out. They do have Johnny Furphy and a lot of other experience on this team. Furphy is a freshman, but he can shoot the ball to replace McCullough. And he's not going to replace him defensively, though. So I'm taking Samford. They're efficient. They're 4 out, 1 in. They inside out. They shoot the threes. They shoot a lot of threes. They force turnovers. Achur is the name. Achur is the name. He's an inside guy, real big guy, but he can also knock down threes. And then they also have A.J. McCray. So I'm telling you, Samford is a team to not sleep on. I might put money on these two. I ain't even a betting dude, but I might put money on those two. That's how sure I am. South Carolina and Oregon. South Carolina, they defensive rebound. They guard twos. They limit threes. They take care of the basketball. They got Michi Johnson, right? Oregon, though. Oregon is not a true 11 seed. They just showed that in the Pac-12 tourney. Dante is back. He's healthy. They got my boy. They got my boy Jackson Shellstad, who I really like, one of my favorite freshman guards in the entire nation. I just think that Oregon and Dana Altman, they're kind of like Michigan State. They're going to get rolling. They're going to get going, and you know what they're going to do when it comes time for the tourney. Akron and Creighton. I'm going to take Creighton, but I'm telling you, I'm looking at Akron real strong. Enrique Freeman, Ali, those two dudes, man. Man. They want the twos. They want to score inside. Creighton is going to let you. They're going to let you try to score inside. That's what Creighton wants you to do because they're big on the inside defense. They force turnovers, or no, they don't force turnovers. And this is going to be a fun matchup. I'm leaning with Ryan Kalkbrenner, Baylor Shireman, and Trey Alexander. But Akron is going to be a team that's going to make me really sit up and watch this game. Do not be surprised if Akron gives them a run for their money, or if in the first half they give them a scare or something like that. Ultimately, I think Creighton is a well-rounded enough team to get this job done. Down here, I'm taking Texas. I think Virginia is going to win this game against Colorado State. If they do, I'm taking Texas. Virginia, elite defense. They're disgusting on offense, though. They're disgusting. And like I said, St. Peter's the same way. Really good defensive team in St. Peter's. They had a March Madness run a couple years ago. Or was that last year? That might have been last year, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 years ago. Time's flying so much. But they're god-awful on offense. So that's how we rolling. Now it's good. Now we talked about each team. We did some explanations. We did some explaining. We talked through some guys, named some players. Now we can really just start to pick and go. Tennessee against Texas. I'm taking Tennessee and Rick Barnes. I just think they're going to be too much for a team like Texas. I barely took Texas. I ain't gonna lie. Virginia just is so bad offensively that it's just like, Texas, go ahead. They got Max Amos and things like that. Dylan Mitchell. But ultimately, I think Tennessee will be too much to handle with all that experience that they have and don't connect. Up top, we got Creighton and Oregon. This is going to be a really, really solid matchup. I think Oregon is going to give them a run for their money. And finally, Dante, could he come in and really give Ryan? I might lean Oregon, y'all. I might lean Oregon. I'm going to go Creighton. Creighton is built for that. I'm going to go Creighton. McNeese and Sanford, I'm going McNeese. I just think that the way that they play, that offense, Shahada Wells, I trust him more than anybody else in his matchup. So I'm going McNeese. Purdue is going to be too big. They're going to be too big, too strong for a team like TCU. So I'm rocking out with Purdue. Up top, in the South, I think Houston is going to lock up Nebraska in an embarrassing way. Duke and James Madison, I need more time to think on that. Kentucky is going to run through NC State, and Marquette is going to beat the brakes off of Colorado. James Madison versus Duke. Holy shit. This is going to be a really, really good game. I'm going to take James Madison, man. We need to have a Cinderella somewhere. UConn versus Northwestern. Northwestern, Boo Booey. Y'all played well against Florida Atlantic. UConn ain't here to play no games. San Diego State and Auburn. San Diego State is going to be extremely stingy to Auburn's offense, but Auburn is going to be extremely stingy to San Diego State's offense. And because San Diego State doesn't shoot the three ball well, I think Auburn is going to have the edge there, and they're going to win. That's going to be one of the better games, so that's a nice matchup there. Illinois should take care of Duquesne. And then I'm going to take Drake with the upset over Iowa State, baby. Tucker DeVries is going crazy. Duke is handling their business. Drake is handling their business, and they're going to go ahead and do that. I don't know if I'm going to sit with that, but right now we rocking with that. I'm going off the fly right now, y'all. I'm just going right now. North Carolina, Michigan State. This is a matchup that always seems to find itself happening. I just think North Carolina has too much for a Michigan State team that got going a little too late in the season. Alabama and Grand Canyon. As much as I love Nate Oates, as much as I love JK, I think Alabama is going to stop the Cinderella run there. New Mexico. I got them over Baylor. I just think that the way that they're playing, the way that they're locked in with that three-guard set, they're really, really going to disrupt a lot of teams. They're going to guard well as well. I think Baylor is a little bit I don't want to say vulnerable, but this isn't the typical Baylor year. I'm going New Mexico, man. I think New Mexico can be scary. Down here, I really want to lean at Nevada, but I just think Arizona is too big. They're too strong, and they have too much. I think they just have too much, but trust me, I want to take Nevada on that. I want to take Nevada badly. Back up here. Am I sure I want to take Drake against this high-octane defensive Iowa State? Do I really want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. Iowa State there. So nobody out here is going to be upsetting anything? Nobody up here? This is just that one side of the bracket where shit is just going good? Really? Do I really feel that, y'all? Like, this is how my brain works, because I just know shit be happening, man. I just know shit be happening. There ain't no team on this side that just is striking a run. Yale, maybe, but Auburn is not going for it. Duquesne, I got you there. I just can't put them over Illinois, man. I can't. Drake, watch this. Matter of fact, I will. Boom. We doing that. Y'all don't follow me. Don't follow me, y'all. Don't follow me. One of these years, it's going to be very simple where one of the side of the bracket is just going to have everybody advance the way they should. And we going to be overthinking it like, man, they got to be some upset somewhere. Where else do we go? Well, okay, down here, we got Creighton versus Tennessee. And we got Purdue versus McNeese. I'm going McNeese, man. I'm going McNeese. They're going to be that team that has that crazy run. That's my team. I'm riding with McNeese. I'm also going to ride with Tennessee down here. I think they're going to have too much for Creighton. It's going to be a really good game. It's going to be close, but I got Tennessee versus McNeese. I got Alabama beating North Carolina. They're going to play too fast. I might come back and regret this one, though. Because I'm honestly not even sure. Hold up. I'm honestly not even sure. Is Alabama going to really take care of business against Grand Canyon? Is Alabama going to do it? Second in the nation offense. They don't force turnovers. They give up too many offensive rebounds. Like, they struggle guarding twos. 36% of they shot from three. Damn. I'm going Grand Canyon, man. I'm going Grand Canyon. I'm sorry, Nate Oates. I'm sorry. North Carolina wins this, though. North Carolina versus New Mexico. I told you Arizona makes me feel some type of way. Iowa State, they're going to rock. UConn is going to rock. The 1-2 meets up right here. Houston, James Madison. Kentucky is going to do this. James Madison, you getting popped back 1-2, 1-3. I don't like the way my bracket looking. McNeese is going. North Carolina is going. So in the Final Four, we got a 1 seed. UConn is another 1 seed that'll make it to the Final Four. And then Kentucky. My Final Four is Kentucky, McNeese, UConn, and North Carolina. UConn beats the hell out of them because I don't even know how North Carolina made it. Should I do New Mexico? F it. And then McNeese versus Kentucky. In the Final Four, we're going Kentucky. UConn versus Kentucky National Championship. We're going Kentucky. Psych. We're going UConn. Back to back. How many total points will be scored? Holy shit. How am I supposed to know? ESPN. Total points. Let's go 142. Or let's do like 77 to 72. It's like 149 or something, I guess. That's my bracket so far, y'all. That's my bracket for the video. My bracket, because we have some days left, it could be suitable to change. I could give more thought to this. I really am feeling a type of way about this side of the bracket. The East side is going too good. There's so much shakeup everywhere else. Everywhere else has major shakeup, right? Like James Madison is disrupting shit over here. You got NC State for a while was doing their thing. Even down here, you have Sanford and McNeese doing their thing. Oregon came through. They try to fight hard against them. You got Nevada and New Mexico potentially shaking up some shit. Grand Canyon. And then up here, it's just like, nah. Everything is going good. Regular. Like Elite 8, 1 seed, 2 seed. Elite 8, 1 seed, 2 seed. Like 1 seed, 3 seed. 2 versus 12, I like. 1 versus 11, cool. And North Carolina, shaky too. This west side is wide open, man. Anybody can make a run over here. My least confident side of the bracket is West. It's the West and the East. But I have a little bit more confidence because the number 1 seed in the East is a lot stronger than number 1. After losing to NC State, man, I don't know what the heck. North Carolina could easily lose this game to Michigan State. Easily. But then Michigan State lost to Purdue. It was a good game, but they lost to Purdue. And if you lose to Purdue, you probably can lose to North Carolina as well. Alabama could really make a run for their money. They get hot offensively. Nobody can stop them. New Mexico, I'm loving the way y'all playing. If y'all can beat Baylor, y'all can beat anybody in this side of the bracket. Arizona, I just don't like you, but you easily can say, I don't care what you like, Pierre. We had some tough losses, and they can make a run. This West side is so tough to predict, man. It is so tough to predict. I'm not going to submit my bracket just yet. I'm going to sleep on it. But I'm glad y'all was able to be here with me. I hope I gave y'all some insight and some wonderful information. This is almost an hour video of March Madness breakdowns and stuff like that. I'm probably do some more content leading up into the NCAA tournament. I might do a video on like my top 5 prospects to know, guys to watch for, who could put on a show and different things like that. So y'all let me know y'all feedback in the comments. I know I'm going to have some UConn fans happy that I went with them. I know some annoyed fans is going to be in the comments like, man, how you think we going to lose to them? You think we getting upset? And then also 212, man. 215. Did we end up having any 215 upsets? Marquette won. Iowa State won theirs. Arizona won. Tennessee won. Y'all let me know Who is y'all 215 matchup? Who is the 215? So we gotta have 215 upset. Please let me know. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all as always. Hit that like, subscribe, make this video go up, send it up. Let's do it. Let's do a gazillion views. F it. Let's just do views galore. So as always, I appreciate y'all. I am Pee Wee the Plug. This is the Heliocentric Podcast, March Madness edition. I'll see y'all next week. I'm out. Peace.